finished the weekend schedule and recovering from some kind of virus that's been at least going around in our area. But I know, talking to some of you guys, even across the country, across the US, there's just the usual cold bugs that happen. And so glad this one is passing. And maybe I sound a little bit congested, but just glad to be back. So welcome to the live stream. I'm working on the Bad Batch attack shuttle still, 75314, and left off. I can't, let this sit too long. The amazing wing structure build is half done. I mean, one half of the ship is done, one wing is done, and you got to have this shuttle complete, man. It's gonna go in circles if it doesn't have that other wing. Need some equilibrium. But like I said, probably one of my most favorite parts or kind of processes of this build is just the mid-construction look of just all the parts and design that go in this thing. It's just a fun build. It's just a fun build. It just uses a lot of different pieces, a lot of different angle connections and Technic type builds and older pieces all combined with some newer pieces. The color and the theme, of course, being a Star Wars theme, but also like a independent theme from Star Wars, or not, how would I say it? Just a unique theme from Star Wars. The Bad Batch, the Clone Wars, definitely a more popular spin-off from Star Wars itself after the movies have kind of gone a little bit mid. And so these Lego designs like this are just so much fun. So glad to be here and see you guys. Rats is back. Rat Studio says, yo, John Powell is here. Awesome, John Powell, thanks for being here. Yeah, I was wondering it too. And then after I did my evening jog, I was like, I feel okay. I'll go for it, and I'll stream for, well, we'll give the hour a shot, but we'll see. At least a good 45 minutes. Rat says, I got school tomorrow, but I can't miss this live. Way to go, Rats. Well, don't overdo it, man. I don't want you to be extra tired, worn out because of Brick Therapy. Brick Therapy is supposed to help you feel better, not make you exhausted for school tomorrow, man. So just enjoy. Stay here as long as you want. Let's open bag 5, and don't forget to leave a like. And if you're listening in the background, you like Lego, you like Star Wars Lego, you like Lego in general, then thanks for being here. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to. Help the channel. We're getting so close to that pivotal point where you reach the viewership hours where you can start to basically not get AdSense, but you can, get the, what do they call those? The super chats. And so that will help the channel, of course, a little bit. And then, we can keep going with the live streams and build some sets and all that good stuff. Okay, we got one more minifig to add to the collection here in bag 5. So let me get the instructions open here. It looks like we are adding, this is the guy I said from the box art. He kind of looks more, oh no, there's 2 minifigs in this one. He looks kind of like Iron Man 1 in this build. So it looks like we get Wrecker and Crosshair we built, although, oh no, maybe Echo. So we get these 2 guys right here in bag 5. So Wrecker and Echo. All right, and that completes the minifigs. And so what do we have? We've got Crosshair. We've got, let's see, Hunter. I forget these names. I say them and I forget them. We've got the Gonk droid. Yes, always fun to have these guys. Almost like a I don't know, comic relief for droids or robotic type figures. And then my favorite. I know some people are like, I don't like it, but I just love this guy. This is Tech. Did a whole YouTube short on Tech, a tribute to Tech, my G.I. Joe looking clone Bad Batch trooper commander, I guess, squad commander, squad team leader. So yeah, some fun minifigs. So we're getting 2 more in this next set. Rat says, how many sets you got? I don't know, Rats. Here, you estimate. Ready? You can guess how many that is, and then times 2. How many, whatever you just saw there, times 2. That's what I'll say. Little Bricks, psh, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Have you built the speeder? If you're talking about these, yes. If you saw those in the box, these were earlier in the build. This was basically bag 1 right here. And then now that I'm in bag 5, like 2 through 7 are gonna be the shuttle, or basically have been the shuttle as I've been building. Alexandria, psh, good to see you back. Hopefully you've been feeling better too, Alexandria. I know you were saying how you're getting over something as well. Yes, and I'm wearing green. Of course, Alexandria, thank you for the 4-leaf clover there. Very nice. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Or I guess it was yesterday for a lot of you, but still, it's St. Patty's Day over here. And if you're on the East Coast, it might get a little more celebratory. Out here on the West Coast, not as much. But either way, happy St. Patty's Day. And this is our St. Patty's Day build. Echo is in the spirit. He's got the light green going. So there we go. Echo in the spirit of St. Or not Echo, Tech. Oh my gosh, forget his name. Tech in the spirit of St. Patty's Day. Brick Therapy, received my Lego Mac from Cars Speed Champions scale yesterday. Oh, little old bricks. Awesome. You have to post a picture on your channel so we can all check it out. That sounds great. I would say about 50 to 89. I like that, Rat Studio. I like that estimate. So then I guess multiply that by 2. I don't know if I have 160 sets though. That's a lot. I guess if you count all poly bags, little minifig battle packs, then yeah, maybe that is true. Hey, Max. Welcome, Max Hero Bot Crab. Hopefully you're not a bot, Max. Hopefully you're a real person. Welcome. Oh yeah, I forgot it was St. Patrick's Day, says Max. It is. Well, I guess it depends. If you're out here on the West Coast, it still is. So, top of the morning, top of the evening to you there. John Powell's here. Hello, everybody. Tommy Bricks is here. All right, let's hope for the look of the Irish in building bag 5 here. I'm a real person, says Max. I thought so. When I saw the bot, I have to say, oh, I guess it says Max the Robot. Max the Robot Crab, not Max the Hero. I read it. It kind of sounds fun too, both ways. Max Hero Bot Crab. Like and subscribe, says Tommy. Yes, sir. Thank you, Tommy. So yeah, we're almost there for our hours to get into the first level of monetization, which is the super chats, which is always fun, a fun feature to have. Basically a sign that your channel is, making some progress. And I was even happy to see, I released a video of our most recent visit to the Lego store. Of course, those of you who are in the know could tell those gift with purchase I showed are already come and gone, but that was the last time we're at the Lego store, and it made me kind of kind of bummed. Like I want to go back, I want to see the Lego store, but I think obviously I'll wait till April because there are some new sets coming out that actually look interesting enough to consider. The prices don't seem fun, but I do like this. I think the picture came out today. I don't know if you guys saw this. The Douglas DC-3, the Pan Am airliner, which is very cool looking. I don't know if you guys saw it. You probably did if you're a Lego enthusiast or just a brick fan, a brick builder. But that Pan Am model plane looks great. Prop plane, 2 propeller, old passenger plane, from the vintage age of air travel. Back in the day when people had to, dress up to go on the airplane, to go fly somewhere. It wasn't just, wear your sweats and flip-flops and be all comfy. Getting on an airplane, that was high-end travel, and you dressed for the part. And I just love the classy look of it. And I'm old enough to know about the fact that Pan Am used to be an airline that existed. And I do believe I flew on one Pan Am flight, a very small, it was back when you could, I don't know if you can do this anymore. You could get on a plane during it's like in between route, like it was off to a longer route, like an international route or whatever, and we were able to take it from Southern California to Northern California before it flew off to somewhere across the Pacific. But yeah, that was an experience I remember as a kid. And so yeah, Pan Am had a long history, pretty iconic airline. It also had a sad history in the 80s. If you're aware of events back then, what happened to the I think it was Pan Am Flight 103, and just a lot of history there. But also just one of those first airliners or airlines that involved, you know, customer travel, people taking the plane across the oceans, across the states, across many miles. I would guess that, you know, it might have even existed if you watch any of those fun Indiana Jones movies where he gets on a plane and then he traverses the plane goes across the globe, and like a red line kind of goes across the map to show all the stops he makes before he gets to, you know, faraway places like Tibet or something like that. So yeah, just a fun historic airline, and it's kind of cool. I don't know where, maybe it was a Lego Ideas a fan design, but a very cool looking build. And I like the minifigs on that. You know, you got the pilot, one flight attendant. Actually, no, they're all flight attendants. I thought, oh no, maybe the one guy in the very dapper looking suit with the pocket handkerchief. Maybe this guy here. Maybe he's an actual passenger. I don't know, but he could be either. But yeah, look at those very classy looking minifigs to going back to a classy era of flight travel. So yeah, very cool to see that. Back then you could smoke on planes too. Yes, I remember that, Alexandria. The little, if you sat on the seat, I remember those little metal push open compartments where, you know, they put their cigarette ash in. I remember those things on planes. Smoke on planes, smoke in restaurants. Yes. Funny, like something I don't like, but very nostalgic. If you know, just, you know, of course our sense of smell reminds us of things, but yeah, remember that as a kid going into, or I remember as a kid seeing, you know, vending machines for cigarettes. You know, you'd go to like a restaurant and there'd be a or like a coffee shop and there'd be a vending machine for cigarettes. All the bygone era. Classic DC-10, says John Powell. Yes. So very cool. Let's see. Alexandria says awesome. Max has got his own. Sounds like you got your own channel. That's cool, Max. Very cool. Chris Vick is here. Chris, where did you go? I didn't see you come up. Let me back up here. Where did it go? Where did it go? I thought I saw Alexandria welcome Chris Vick. Where is Chris? Chris came and went. Or maybe Chris Vick he disappeared. Maybe he'll come back. But if you are here, Chris Vick, give you the high fives. Yeah, so air travel from a bygone era, a very fun era to think about. I didn't ride on, whoops, how did I get this? Got the order of the pieces wrong here, or no, I didn't. I just put them on the wrong side. Okay, time to use the brick separator. This is what happens when you start trying to maintain the conversation after not live streaming for a few days. You lose your Lego savviness in the build, so you got to take out these pins and start over, which these are hard to extract. We use the other pin piece, Technic piece here to reset on the blue pins here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, lots of memories as a kid. I'm trying to think. I think Pan Am probably lasted until the 90s, and then I think it either got bought out and then eventually folded. There's been a lot of airlines. There used to be airlines like Continental Airlines. I remember that one. And now there's just a few carriers. There's been some newer ones that have come and gone. But yeah, I love that Lego came out with that one. That's very cool. Max says, Brick Therapy, do you do stop motion? My son does. He's done 3. Or I've edited 3 stop motion episodes. And yeah, if you go to our channel, there. I did one, we made one into a short also, because it does take a while just to create, you know, just even a minute's worth of stop motion. It does take quite a lot of time to do all that. But yeah, we have 3 all Star Wars themed stop motions. They're kind of spread out on our channel. So if you look up, I think I might have it as a category as stop motion, but there should be like 3 episodes. So yeah, thanks for asking, Max. We do have that. Chris Vick, Lego Dad, get well. You say you have a cold. Yeah, I still, you can kind of tell maybe in my voice, but it's going, I can feel it going away. I maxed out on the vitamin C, and that helped a ton. And not really, the hard part with the cold is, you know, they say get rest, and then you try to get rest, but you're just miserable at night because, you know, you're sneezing or coughing, or I get that like dry throat, and then I don't know, it's just not pleasant. So anyway, that kind of prevents the rest from happening the way I'd like. But the vitamin C, and then actually taking it slow over Sunday helped a lot. And then yeah, just not doing as much, like not trying to live stream for a few days actually helped my voice, because my voice was getting a little bit dry and everything. And so now I feel a lot better. And good to be back and see some of you guys here. Yes, my stop motion is from G to PG. Ah, okay. So you do, what's your topic? Adventures of Max the Robot Crab, where Max serves, oh geez, Max and then Alien. That's kind of interesting. So we'd like to keep things family friendly, so I'm glad you gave a rating. So I'll just edit out certain things, and we got our mods to edit as well. But in terms of Lego, yeah, so there's the Douglas DC-3. I think John Powell, you mentioned another type of the classic DC-10. Ah, so the DC-3 is probably a little bit older, right? With the prop, it's a prop plane, 2 propellers. It's even got the Pan Am logo. Looks really good. The price, $219. Releases April 4th. So I don't know if they'll do a I don't know if they'll do a gift for purchase with that one, or it's just coming out on its own. Let's see, what is that one? Is it Ideas or Icons? Icons. So it's an icon set. So yeah, that one looks cool. And it's kind of fun to see something Lego release that, you know, is just unique again. And really like that. Interesting, they're doing Ninja Turtles as BrickHeads. That's another kind of nostalgia type of topic, theme, but I don't really care about BrickHeads. I don't find them as interesting. They're a fun build to have a few. It's fun to build those. When my kids were younger, it was fun to have a few of those BrickHeads. We've gotten a few in our collection, but don't really do much with those. You just kind of, you build them, and then there they are, just a shelf piece. Not, I don't know, I guess they could be playable. I guess it depends on how you see kids interact with that. Then there's the one that didn't capture my imagination, but I do like the way it looks. You got the Peanuts Snoopy doghouse, classic looking Snoopy and Woodstock typewriter on the red doghouse on the green platform, which makes me wonder, are they going to do a Charlie, now that they have Peanuts licensing, are they going to do a Charlie Brown upscale fig or something like that? That might be kind of fun. And another build I didn't really think much of, because I don't know really much about the story, but it is kind of a fun cartoony looking build, a rocket ship for the Tintin moon rocket. And the astronauts are probably the funnest part of this, right? So you got the Tintin moon rocket there, and you've got the, I don't know any of the characters, so there are 5 astronauts with like those really fishbowl looking helmets. It might be fun if you could just get the minifigures and kind of incorporate it into a Lego space kind of scene. And yeah, the rocket ship definitely looks like something from I don't know, probably like a Jetsons kind of theme, like a 1960s looking cartoon. But yeah, the colors are fun. The kind of checkered look at the top, kind of like a retro look to what space ships and space travel looked like according to animators in the 1950s and 60s. So that one does look interesting. But yeah, that DC Pan Am plane, DC-3 looks really cool. And let's see, got another birthday theme release, a gift box collection. So yeah, John Powell says should have said DC-3, not DC-10. Ah, no worries. Chris Vick says April 4th, I will be 44. Chris Vick, don't they have? Wow, all triple fours, Chris Vick. I was gonna say there's is it the golden birthday? I forget which one it is, but maybe that's not it. All right, Max, signing out. Hey, nice to meet you, Max. Thanks for being here and saying hello to everyone. Unless, oh, maybe you're saying bye to someone else, but thanks for being here. And yeah, stop motion is a thing. So good job on that. Alexander says, I heard a rumor that the May 4th gift will purchase is going to be the dark lightsaber. The dark lightsaber. Ooh, which one is that? Is that related to? No, it couldn't be. I was thinking the Mandalorian that on the Mandalore they had that dark saber, which was kind of like if they wielded the dark saber, that meant they were in line to be like the ruler of Mandalore. But this sounds like something else. I don't know if that's the same thing. Max says, Brick Therapy, which of my episodes do you approve? PG or PG-13? I would definitely go with PG, Max. I don't know. I haven't seen what your not your live streams, your stop motions are, but that's what I would guess. Hey, Pirate. Or that's what I would approve of. Pirate says, hello and good night. I have to work again. Lots of hours. Let's see, Friday I'm on bag 6 of my Rio bricks of the clock tower, Big Ben. Way to go, Pirate. You got to post a picture of that. 44 bags. Very cool. John Powell says, yeah, never heard of Tintin until that Lego set. I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. And it looks like it must be a Cartoon Network kind of episode. That's what it looks like to me. Tommy Brick says, looks like Bugs Bunny and Duck Dodgers rocket ship. Aha, it kind of does. Yeah, if you go to the Looney Tunes animation, that does make sense. I like that. Chris Vick throwing out, what about the Beavis and Butthead Lego set? You never know. All right, Max, signing off for real. He says, thanks for being here, Max. Nice to meet you on the live stream. Alexandria says, Marvin the Martian would be so awesome. Oh, yes, that the guy with the green kind of looking Roman helmet, and then all you see are his eyes, and he's got like a dark shadow face. Yes. R&B, looks like R&B just signed in. Welcome, R&B. So good to see you guys. Let me attach the next part of the wing, the turbine part. I would say that's what I'm trying to call this. The turbine part. Oh wait, let me see. This actually reminds me, saying how Tech, the minifigure, reminds me of G.I. Joe. So does the shuttle here. I remember when I was collecting, or as a kid, loved G.I. Joe, the cartoon, and of course all the action figures. But I do remember a plane or a jet that they had that also, oh gosh, it had, I'm trying to see where this goes. It had like the wings that basically face forward instead of backward. So this reminds me of that. I have to look up what that was, but oh, so much nostalgia. I wonder if G.I. Joe and Lego will ever become a thing. That would be cool. And they don't need to do it because there's enough money being spent on Lego already, but you never know. It'll be fun to see what ideas come out of that. Doesn't always have to be nostalgia type sets, but it is fun to see. Okay, now I can't really tell. Man, I can't tell what exactly the connection point is. Okay, I remember it not being something where I thought it was the center of the turbine. Now it's interesting because this set is a 9+ set. It would be really interesting to see how a 9-year-old builds this set, especially the wing part, if they build it, or is it frustrating? Because this pin part, I remember this on the other wing too. This pin part is semi-frustrating to put together. And okay, good. I was like, there's I don't know, there's just some parts you're like, does it supposed to, I can't remember because I did the last one about, I don't know, a week ago. So now this part here is like, does that pin stick out like that, or does it go flush all the way in? But yeah, I still love the fact though. I love the in-between parts of the build. It's gotta be fun. Yes, Chris Vick, you did mention that before. Elvis Presley house. How was the Lego store? I watched the video. The Lego store was fun that day, R&B. It was a better visit than going in January. For whatever reason, once that Creel house was released, basically people just went on a buying frenzy. At least where are in our area. Like any other set, if they could, I don't know if it's because people couldn't get the Creel house, but then every other set, you know, big sets too. Any set that you were looking for, the new Ninjago sets, the new Speed Champion sets, whatever it was, they were all sold out. Like it wasn't necessarily the most exciting experience, and it was crowded, so it's like people were scrounging for, I don't know what, they're looking for something to buy, and it was kind of annoying to go to the Lego store and see that. I haven't really been to the Lego store when it's been that set, or more customers than sets available, which is, I don't know, just crazy to think about. So it was good that second visit, the one of the video we just released, that there were some stuff, there's stuff back on the shelves, and the new Ninjago sets weren't in stock, but it was cool to see them built up. I do like that Ninjago blacksmith house and the character display stand for the old school Ninjago characters. So yeah, that part was fun. I was building an 18 plus sets at 8 years old. No doubt, R&B. I'm just curious, like some of these, how a kid would navigate through these builds versus what I think of, like, okay, how am I gonna do this? You know, try to hold it, or do I just balance it on a table and build? You know, I don't know if I would have had fun building this up as a kid. When I had Lego, there weren't Technic pins and, you know, rounded pieces like that, and kind of lining up to make these more solid builds like the shuttle has here. It was all just bricks, like basically old school bricks, one on top of the other, and you had fun. Liam Brick the Bed, Liam Brick the Bed says, "Good day, Groove Kittens, and fun to see you guys here. Happy St. Patty's Day." All right, so we've got a lot going on here. So let me get this wing. From the last build I did of this Bad Batch shuttle, this is the part where I was like, these wings are very substantial. There are a lot, you can see it's like 3 layers deep of Lego plates. So there's a lot of thickness to the shuttle, but again, just a great build. I know John Powell and others who have this said it was a really good build, and I agree and am agreeing, and I don't think this would be a fun set to take apart necessarily. I think this is one you might want to not take fully apart anyway. Probably leave the wings put together unless you really want to part out everything, because there's so many plate pieces that just are held together by, I don't know, different angles and layers that you kind of don't want to take apart the work you put into building this thing. But it does look great, and it's so unique, again, with the color scheme, the look. It doesn't necessarily feel like a Star Wars set 100%, a Star Wars themed set, I guess. And, you know, I haven't really watched any of the episodes from Clone Wars, or especially Bad Batch, to know kind of where to associate this set in relation to Star Wars. So I'm basically going off of my experience with more well-known movie episodes and sets that are just recognizable, whether it's Mos Eisley or an X-Wing or a Millennium Falcon or the Star Destroyer that my son and I built last like New Year's. And so this type of set, this is just fun though, because it's like, okay, there's some Star Wars sets, and I don't know if they'll do this again, where you get a set from a good series, like it was a good TV show. The ones I did see were really good. There's a lot of good drama in those Clone Wars episodes, and the sets to match with it also worth buying. Versus kind of like the newer Disney Plus episodes, like I don't know anything about those storylines, and I don't find them that good episodes to watch to begin with, except for the second season of The Mandalorian. I do remember this scene. This scene was fun to see. So yeah, Luke kind of taking out the Dark Troopers. That one part, that episode I watched. That one I can associate with what happened. Versus, I don't remember what that, whoever that lady Jedi is, whatever her name is, and they've done sets off of her. And there's some blue admiral guy, where he's got a blue head and everything. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. So yeah, that part. My wife decided to do our last Lego haul until she's having a baby. We're gonna be spending only $900. That's a lot of only R&B. And hold the summer. We're moving Legos into our custom barn. Oh, very cool. R&B's gonna have a whole barn for housing some Lego. That's awesome. The new Death Star. You guys are gonna get. That is a build I had mixed thoughts about R&B, but now I think I just appreciate it for what it is. It is definitely a glorified diorama piece, but I like it for being that it's a diorama piece and not necessarily considering it just a Death Star. John Powell says, actually, it was pretty easy to take apart. Oh, okay. So this set was, I guess when you take some of the plates off, they all kind of peel off each other. But there's just so many of them. I don't know if I would, like, if it was like this, I would just leave this kind of part together. I wouldn't want to necessarily take everything apart. I remember as a kid when I took plate pieces apart, especially my classic space sets, you could actually break the Lego. At least I don't know how I figured it out as a kid. I don't know if I just didn't have the right leverage or probably the finesse at the time, but I do remember, and this is before the brown Lego controversy. But yeah, there's some cracked Lego plate pieces. And of course they're gray pieces, which are a dime a dozen now, especially when you talk about Star Wars. But yeah, I think I would leave the wing parts pretty much intact. That's what I do in general. Like if I'm dismantling a set, and like for any of the modulars, any of the ground floor part, like especially if there's layering, like the Ninjago pieces especially, or the Ninjago sets especially, if there is layered like ground floor or like water scenes, where you put the clear blue tile on top of other colored tiles, that stuff I'll just leave because that becomes kind of tedious to take apart. Plus, this is where you end up losing stuff. There's a lot of small plate pieces involved. So yeah, but when it comes to the structure part, that's the most fun to build. That's the part I don't mind taking apart and then redoing. Lots of good stuff. Liam Brick to Bed says the Bad Batch is worth watching. Yes, I would agree, Liam. I have to find a different way though. We had Disney Plus a while ago, and I just don't want to subscribe to it on a regular basis. Every once in a while, we'll kind of re-up and watch a series of like whatever Disney films that were old school that we like especially during like Christmas break, we might do it then. So if we do that next Christmas or something like that, I'm assuming that's where you could find all the Clone Wars and stuff, plus the Bad Batch. But yeah, I do remember seeing part of an episode because my younger son watched some of the Clone Wars episodes, and they're pretty good. I just good drama, well written, very cool storyline. You get introduced to a lot of the characters you do see in some Lego sets that I didn't know about unless you saw or watched some of those Clone Wars episodes. So yeah, definitely worth watching. I would agree. Yeah, the animated stuff was good, says John Powell. Would also agree. The live action, not so much. Exactly. That is the issue. R&B says, my wife ordered 5 big bookshelves. They didn't deliver, so we called Amazon. They sent us some for free. Oh, very nice. That always works out. Got to get those bookshelves. The hard part with those, depending on what kind of material it's made out of, hopefully when they're delivered, they don't crack. It's like that miter board. It's not like real wood, and it's really heavy. So that's where I get kind of hesitant about getting furniture delivered from Amazon, which is not a brick and mortar store. But yeah, bookshelves, man, it's very much some of the most useful furniture out there, especially for Lego. You gotta have some display sections somewhere, or display furniture somewhere that actually work out for you. All right, again, here we go, beginning the layering. I like the wing design. It does look cool. You need a break, says Chris Vick. Lego Dad, got a question. Your daughter, if you get sick again, let the other family members do the build. Yeah, maybe someday. I don't know if they're not really into, being out there in the YouTubes. It's mostly me and my younger son. Although he'll probably make a comeback more during the summer. So, fun suggestion though, Chris Vick. They show up in our videos when we go to the Lego store. You can see them in the background there. Liam says, I pirated the Bad Batch. Disney Plus can take a short walk off along pier. I've never heard that expression before. That's kind of funny. John Powell says, the Dagobah diorama was a pain to take apart because yes, that's what I'm referring to, John Powell. Yeah, the layered plates that you put which looks really cool in a build, right? If you want to make it look, I don't know, like there's depth to the water, then how they do that design where it's like brown and green plates and then maybe gray or whatever, and then the light blue on clear light blue plates above that. It looks really cool. R&B says, oh, real wood, even better then. That's the kind of furniture you want for bookshelves. Plus they're lighter. Liam says, it's kind of rare in furniture nowadays. Yeah, that's true as well, Liam. Most of it is not made out of genuine wood material. And it's cheap, so I guess you got that going for it. But man, that stuff breaks. That furniture is built and made to just kind of sit there, and that's it. The best for bookshelves is actually getting it from people who are, getting rid of old furniture. Find a lot of good furniture that way, whether it's tables or chairs or bookshelves. Just some people downsize or I don't know, estate sale or something like that. But yeah, there's ways to get good furniture for a lot less price, especially if you're looking like I should at some point find a shelf display, although it would be hard for the Daily Bugle to fit in a shelf without it taking up half, where you'd only have a bookshelf for like one shelf in between and that's it, because it's such a tall set. I'll have to take a close look at some of those guys like Brixie, how they set up there. Although his is definitely not something I could do anymore. Maybe one of his older videos where he shows his Lego shelves on display, and I think they're IKEA. But yeah, the adjustable shelves where you can make some taller space available for at least the Star Wars sets. I don't know about the tower sets like the Daily Bugle, but something like that. Although I do like the way my son set it up in the background. When it wasn't all crowded, it looked good for a season there. I'll need to declutter. It's probably over the summer. I can declutter this build or the table behind me. Yeah, the swamp was all studs and one by one plates. Just a lot of that. Of course, if you're parting things out, like organizing things, I guess, if you were going to resell a set, you probably want to inventory it and take everything apart. But for what I'm doing, just kind of storing stuff and then rebuilding. It was actually very helpful. Not that I want to do it often, but when we had to move and relocate, it was helpful to take apart all our sets and yeah, just kind of account for all the pieces, minifigures, put them all back in bags and reorganize and see if everything was still there, relocate some pieces and put up, I would get those giant IKEA bags, which were like Ziploc bags, but you know, like bigger than I think they had more than 5-gallon bags, but they were like really tall. And I would put our sets, broken down Lego sets in those, and then put them in big Sterilite containers for the move. That worked out really well. And still kind of have that system now. But now that we're more settled, I haven't been very organized, and my kids have taken out some of those sets and kind of mixed and matched things. So it's gonna take some time. And of course you want to do it right. You don't want to get things mixed up again. John Powell says, my shelves are heavy with metal with plywood shelves. Made for garages, rated to 8,000 pounds. Yeah, those aren't going anywhere. And Lego is not gonna cause those things to collapse at all. Plywood shelves, plywood's pretty solid, that's for sure. Especially for layering. So yeah, I'll have to think about it. Yeah, I think the Lego collection for us is pretty much not gonna grow the way it has between the last, I don't know, since 2020, I've added a lot of big sets. So I don't think I'm gonna do that much more in that realm. I don't know, I say that, but in terms of like just the overall cost of everything, it's like you just can't keep adding to the collection. I would like to try and, like I said, get a UCS set, but now I'm kind of weighing the UCS set or even the Titanic before that one retires. If that happens, then it's just one or the other. But yeah, just to have one more big set in the collection like that. Just really love the look of that whole design overall. And this is the tricky part. So this is interesting with the wing here. Like I said, lots of layered pieces. And then you build this part separately. And then these two go next to each other. But it's really interesting because there's only this one wing corner piece that kind of lines up everything with this part right here where it's all the 3 blue stud pieces. And yeah, they go like right here. But there's nothing really holding this wing together. So as I was building the first wing, I'm like, when are these two gonna actually be solidly together? And there's a point where you start adding the those Technic pieces there, or I don't know, I call them Technic pieces, all the ones that where you can slide in some blue pins and gray pins, and that's the part that holds this wing together pretty solidly. So I would imagine you need the brick separator if you are gonna take apart this wing and store it. But yeah, definitely the part of the build where I'm like, did I do it right? Because it's not really, you can tell it fits there like a puzzle piece, but it's not really held together by anything. And then you kind of just let it sit, and then you start adding some other plates to the wing that still don't hold it into place, which is kind of an interesting part of the process. So in case you do get this Bad Batch shuttle piece, like you go, okay, I added another wing piece part here to the bottom, and then it kind of holds it into place a little bit, this part right here. But yeah, it's still loose. You just keep doing that for a while. You're like, when is this thing gonna actually like not come apart? And then you look and like, there's a ton more plate pieces here. So this is again though, just a fun element to the build, because you're like, you just have to follow the directions, and that's the fun part of Break Therapy, is just seeing the design come together and seeing how It will. Just got to be patient. Trust the process. I think that's what John Powell said last time when I was building the first wing. Trust the process, and you do, and it looks really, really good. This wing's gonna look really good. This whole set's gonna look good. My Winter Village is just put in boxes, still built with loose pieces in Ziploc bags. Yeah, the Winter Village ones, those that I kind of put on display on a regular seasonal basis. I'll take all the minifigs and put them in a bag with small accessory builds. And then, yeah, leave the bigger parts put together. But again, it's all about storage space. And if it can fit, right now, all our Christmas Lego, winter Lego sets basically fit in one little, like, I don't know, 10 gallon, 20 gallon, no, probably 20 gallon Sterilite plastic crate. And that's perfect. So, you know, when we do Christmas decorations, there's like the regular Christmas decorations, the tree and what goes on the tree, the lights, which is in another crate, and then, yeah, the Lego Christmas builds, which sometimes, well, this year I didn't put them all together. As you can tell when I was doing the builds right here, I only did a few, plus the upscale Santa. But the year before I did put together all, like pretty much all our Christmas sets. And there was I don't know when it was, but there were a couple years there in a row where there were some really cool gift with purchase. Oops. There were some really cool gift with purchase Christmas sets. Like there was a Charles Dickens Christmas Carol gift with purchase that came out, and got that. And Elf's Workshop or something like that. So ended up with a few of those smaller builds, and they look great, but I just didn't put them all up together this year. Let's see, Liam says, I'm shelfless, need to pick one up, no IKEA on my island. Yeah, I don't know, it depends on where you are, Liam. Like there's pretty much copycat designs of IKEA furniture now. Like the last couple shelves we've got, like there's those ones that looks like they're more box shape, all squared. It's almost like building a giant tic-tac-toe design, but those are great little small square shaped builds, like the one in where we've like a video in our other live streams. You'll see like the Star Wars sets behind me. That's all Walmart furniture, but it's pretty much like IKEA. A cheap way to do shelves is the plastic ones with the tubes that you can get at Walmart. Yes, I have one of those. You say that, John Powell. Yes, those go together really quickly, and they're perfectly functional. There's at least the ones I got don't have like a side or a backing to them, I don't think, so things can slide right off. So you gotta be careful with that. But in terms of like just having a display piece, it actually allows for not all Lego sets are perfectly contained. You know, some parts stick out, especially like the ships, like this over here. You can see like there, those ships, and I think that's what John Powell's talking about. But yeah, where our Hogwarts castle is, and Dusty's Bounty and all that. That's exactly the kind of shelving that works out. Cheap stuff, good stuff too. Let's see here. I keep my Lego on display for 1 year, says Liam. Then I break them down, put them in a huge Ziploc bag. That's exactly what I do with the instructions, and place them in a storage box. That's exactly what I do. Nice, Liam. That's exactly what we do. And a good way to move, if you have to like, literally move houses or whatever, that works out perfectly. I like the clear, use the clear storage containers. And you can obviously see, all right, this is the Star Wars container, the Marvel, Lego City, and then there's some smaller themes that you don't have a lot of, all mixed together, like Creator 3-in-1, and I don't know. We have a few like other themes. I'm trying to think. I might put an Ninjago together with Monkey Kid or something like that. Lord of the Rings, even though we only have 3 sets, those would go in one crate for sure. Rivendell. I don't know if I'd want to take those apart. I said I wanted to rebuild those, but man, 7,000 pieces, maybe someday. But yeah, the plastic ones with the tubes, that is a good way. Yeah, I always say, trust the process, says John Powell. There you go. So yeah, you get to this point, the wing is still not, it's like chopsticks, man. It's not really there. So, but then you leave that, and now you go to the Technic pin side of things, and the wing, the other part of the wing, the part that gives the wing piece even more, I don't know, thickness, layering. There's got to be other words to describe what Lego does here, but I can't think of it on a Night Owls live stream. But yeah, lots of pin pieces, and this is the part where I don't know. I always have lots of fun things to say about all our sets in our live stream. But if you want to experience Lego, just the fun of building Lego, and you know, you could say it would be a building, like a modular building or whatever, or if you're just, you know, especially if you're a grown-up getting back into Lego, this is a build I think you would love to do. It's Star Wars, so that's fun, but it's unique to Star Wars because it's the Bad Batch, so it's not like characters you would recognize right away, but you get really cool minifigures. But then the shuttle build, or like you kind of build up to it, you're like, oh, these are fun little, the speeder ships or crafts. And then when you get to the shuttle, there's so many different techniques of building right here in the wings. And then, yeah, you start with the bottom half of the pilot's section or canopy there. And I haven't, you know, when you get to the dorsal wing here, that's going to be interesting too. But yeah, this is a fun build. If you're getting back into Lego and you can find this set, of course it'd have to be used now. Get it. And I don't know, maybe you'll find a good deal on it. So yeah, that's just always, and then yeah, you learn to trust the process. Godzilla fan is here. Psh, welcome, welcome. Hey, Lego Dad, says Godzilla fan. Hey, Godzilla fan. I like being called Lego Dad. It is fun. That is fun, and appreciate you guys being here, and just family friendly talk. Enjoy it. This is a good discussion on Lego. This is a good episode to come back to, and of course it's a St. Patrick's Day build day or evening, depending on where you are. I know some of you are already into Wednesday, but nevertheless a fun build. Okay, this is where this part of the wing, you're starting to think, okay, when is Lego going to address this? Not yet. No, you're going to put this onto the wing. And I can't remember what all this leads to, if it's for the, okay, is it for, ooh, speaking about trusting the process, looks like I skipped a wing plate. There we go. I'm like, there's too much of a gap there. What did I miss? And, okay, then when you put everything in, this goes on the edge, and you got to, again, trust the process, because these, which are flexible pieces, right? These little lever kind of looking pieces there, but they're supposed to go flush with, they're supposed to go flat with the surface here, and then these are going to snap into right here. And the last time I did it, it wasn't as clean a snap as I wanted. So let's see if I can get everything evened out again to do this right. But yeah, like I said, this is something, if you want to get back into Lego and kind of be challenged as a grown-up builder, you know, I know the younger people can build stuff fast, but as you know, that one went in pretty well. Yeah, then you get to do fun things like this build here. And again, the Lego designers that came up with this type of design, I think what a fun build to put together. And yeah, just have everything, here we go with the layering, have everything come out and looked very well engineered. You know, if I could say that for Lego. Very well engineered for this build here. And then, yeah, get to talk about some really cool designs here. I've been taking apart and bagging sets in reverse order. That way, when you go to rebuild, it's numbered bags. They match the instructions. Also, I put the minifigs in a separate bag and the instructions. Yeah, that's, again, that to me is actually very much brick therapy. I love reorganizing sets in backwards order too, John Powell. I've thought about doing that. I haven't done that before, where you, especially like the bigger sets, like for my Ninjago City, when we moved, I had to take that all apart, and I thought about doing that, kind of breaking things down, like looking at the instructions and breaking things down in reverse order, putting the parts where they would be. Of course, you don't keep the numbered bags. At least I don't, because they, you know, they tear apart in half or whatever, and they're not. It's not the kind of plastic that you really can reuse. But yeah, using the small or bigger Ziploc bags and then numbering them, that's actually a really good deal. Hey, B Bandits. Hey, Brick Therapy. I just woke up and it's late, so I'm gonna go back to sleep, but wanted to stop in and say hi. B Bandits, thanks for taking a break from your evening slumber to say hello. Really appreciate that. John Powell says, all the small bags are packed into gallon-sized bags and then boxed up. Yes, I like it. You kind of reset the Lego build. So, you know, and then if you, it's kind of like a good book. You put it back on the shelf, or you put it, the Lego set back in storage, and then you want to experience the build again. It's all organized and ready to be built again, which, you know, could be a while, maybe, and it doesn't collect dust. That's important. And it's all there waiting for you. I love it. That is the, ooh, let's see, I was off by a level here. I gotta make sure, reset. All right, and put these, didn't follow the process 100% here. Let me reset. But yeah, I love that, John Powell. That is something, I need to do that, basically. I need to do the reverse order breakdown, follow the instructions backwards, and then, yeah, have that set ready to go next time. Because I got a lot back here I need to probably redo or put in storage. What would I do? What would I have to, there's some sets that need to kind of, I definitely want to leave Daily Bugle up. I've taken apart the old Sanctum Sanctorum there several times. I've got to redo that Avengers Tower. I don't even know if it's got everything there. So that's the smaller play scale version of the Avengers Tower. I didn't realize they were gonna do a UCS version of it. Meanwhile, talking about all this, still building 75314, the Bad Batch, 969 pieces, 5 awesome minifigs plus a gonk droid. And you won't be disappointed if you decide, I like that set enough. And Brick Therapy said it's worth, if you're going back into Lego, it's worth getting a set like this one to build and kind of rediscover your love for Lego. This is the set you want, and I stand by that as I go through this build, even through some of the parts where I don't get right and kind of have to reset, reconnect, repeat, delete, and do this set right. The build is super fun. Just make sure you got a good flat table build space, because the half-size card table I have here is probably not the safest. There's times where I've knocked off a few things here, but you know, no harm, no foul. No one's seen anything too destructive here, and it's Lego. You can rebuild it, which is always a good thing. Can't say that about broken dishes or whatever. So, all right, now the wing. I think I got everything here. All right, love it. All the wing is becoming very substantial. Wing, second wing here. Always a fun piece, the Iron Cross of Lego plate pieces. Let's see. John Powell says you can pack so much into manageable boxes for storage. Yes, definitely. Definitely, you don't need this space. If you have Lego sets that are new or are still in the box, that definitely takes up more room. But yeah, if you break down pieces, put them in Ziploc bags, like the 10 1-gallon bags or the ones that are a little bit bigger than that, you can fit surprisingly a pretty good sized Lego set into like 2 bags worth. So great for storage. Very good. Tommy Bricks, hello to B. John Powell says, if I rebuild them or sell them later, I know it's complete with instructions and minifigs. Yeah, it's well organized. You can refer to it. You could inventory your sets. If you do like, I don't know, do a bricklink store or just sell stuff independently through, I don't know, whatever network. There's free versions of selling stuff, I think. Actually, I've never sold anything on OfferUp. I've looked on there for furniture, but not for Lego. Curious if you do have to like pay for an account with them or not. All right, let's see here. Oh, wrong. Let's see, what did I do? Oh, it's a wing piece. I don't know how I keep skipping these, or not wing piece, these diagonal, small corner diagonal plates. Oh, there's a good Lego snap right there. Okay, and then the shield, the Nexonite shield. Here we go. This is starting to, this answers the initial question of what do you do about that loose gap. The Nexonite shield helps solve that initially. Put it on right. Okay, there we go. Now it's kind of held in place. And already time to connect. All right, let me see. This one goes on upwards. Oh, okay. I'm like, where does it connect? Okay, there we go. And actually, I can't remember. Oh, forgot. These push through. So push those through to connect to the wing on this side. Again, this is where I'm curious. How does a younger builder do this? And how do they even things out so that it works? Okay, so we got, there we go. Maybe it's just that easy for them. So there we go. Wings are both connected. This one not fully, but yeah, it's starting to get put together there. All right, now the back turbine, and then we got 2 fully connected wings, and all that fun experience of the various Lego parts, pin pieces, all that good stuff is complete and looking rather good, I might say. Got to get those minifigures put in too. All right, so the back turbine part. Let's see, where does he connect? This is the part where I love it. You line things up and it's just like, oh yeah, it just goes together. Look at that. All right. Looks like a shuttle. Definitely looks a lot bigger than the box picture once you look at the wingspan. Seriously, what a cool build. It's not even done yet. 2 wings on the shuttle. So, well, we pulled it off. Thanks guys for joining me on this return to the live stream and being here. We'll show off the minifigures next time. Have a great St. Patty's Day and good evening to you all, and great discussion. Thanks for joining me back here and all the well wishes. St. Patty's Day live stream.